Hi dear students, how are you? Hope you are fine and safe at home. Yes, I am also fine. I really miss this type of question from you. Really miss you people. We know the current problem, what is happening in the society. We know that this type of incident we already saw in our history. Everything will change. This time also will change. We will overcome these things and don't worry about these things. You concentrate in your studies. As usual, your examination will come. Be positive, stay positive. Today, we will start the first chapter from history, the rise of nationalism in Europe. So, welcome to history class. Shall we start? In 9th class, you already studied about French Revolution. Okay, this is the continuation of that chapter. Did you remember which year French Revolution happened? Yes, 1789. Okay, so after that we discussed some topic up to the emergence of the ruler Napoleon. After that we will continue. Okay, so this chapter, the emergence of nationalism in Europe. We will start with the word nationalism. Do you know what is the meaning of nationalism? Yes, a feeling of oneness. Okay. Nationalism is a feeling of oneness. Maybe that is created by a language, a territory, a common culture. Many things will be there. In the starting of your chapter in your textbook, there is a picture given. Okay. You can see that picture here. The picture name is the Pact Between Nations. Okay. Just see the picture. From that picture, what you understood from the picture? We have to discuss about that. Okay. That is drawn by a French artist. His name is Frederic Soriot. That is in 1848. Please note the year 1848. What is his name? Frederic Soriot. He is a French artist. Okay. And he named this picture the Pact Between Nations, and he visualized a foreprint that is a dream of his picture. It's named Democratic and Social Republic. Okay. In that picture you can see a different flag, the people coming from different parts of the world. Okay, and they are moving to one direction, like a procession they are moving. Okay. And this artist of this time, the French Revolution, personified liberty as a female figure. Okay. He compared that as a female figure. Here you have to understand in 1848 and all, there is no separate nation state. Okay, there is no separate language, separate territory for the European countries, which we can see now. Now in European map and all, you can see separate countries are there. They have separate boundaries, their own nation, their own national anthem, their own separate symbols, language. Everything is different, which was not there in that time. Okay, actually it was a dream. It was a vision. And one more thing is that is a utopian vision. Okay, what is the meaning of utopian vision means? Yeah, utopian vision means which is not really existing. In that time it is not really existing. Yeah, he created that. That is his creation. All are under one government. All are moving together. Separate identity. They have separate flag. Everything that is imagination. Okay, you know that in picture everyone is in their own national costumes. Okay. And during the 19th century, nationalism emerged as a force which brought about sweeping changes in the political and mental world of Europe. Okay. You know that this after the French Revolution in 1789, different countries in the world, they inspired because of this French Revolution. If the French people can create this type of feelings and all, means everyone can create what they think. They also need a separate country, separate nation state, that and all what they are thinking. Okay. And the modern state in which centralized power, they want a state, a centralized power should be exercised there. Okay. And had been developing over a long period of time in Europe. This is the mindset of the people. People in that country, they want a separate country there. Okay. They want a separate culture. They want a separate nation and their own language, their own national symbols, everything separated. Okay. Up to that time, it was not there in the mindset of that people. You studied about French philosophers and all in 9th class. after their books, after reading their books, magazine and all, this type of a thing created, and this is inspired in the different parts of Europe. Did you remember the books and philosophers which you studied in 9th class? Yes. Okay. One person, John Locke, is book name, Two Treatises of Government. The second person, Rousseau, Social Contract, that was his book name. The third one, Montesquieu, and his book name, Spirit of Laws. These are the things which we studied in previous class. Okay. After that, we discussed a long incident. What are the incident we discussed in 9th class? After that, we have to continue that here. Okay. We discussed the French Revolution happened in 1789. And in 1791, France became a constitutional monarchy. And later in 1792, France abolished the monarchy and it became a republic. And later, a new ruler came there. Did you remember the name, the ruler who ruled in between 1793 to 94 at the time of reign of terror? Yes, it is Maximilian Robespierre. Okay, in that. After that, a directory board started ruling there. Later, Napoleon came in 1804. Okay, so just before the Napoleon, what happened, that what we are going to discuss now. Later we will come to that person, Napoleon. Okay, so what happened there? The French Revolution and the idea of the nation. That is our first topic that we have to start now. Okay, shall we continue? Yes. The first clear expression of nationalism came with the French Revolution in 1789. In all over the Europe, the first time they got a feeling of oneness. That means nationalism. That is just after this French Revolution, 1789. Okay. The political and constitutional changes that came into the wake of the French Revolution led to the transfer of sovereignty from the monarchy to a body of French citizens. Okay. Just after the revolution, that this power transferred into the hands of some French citizens. Okay. They made some changes there. Normally, if the India became independence, means what we will do? We will be having a common government under the banner of Indian government. Okay, one name, India. We will be having a feeling of oneness. We have around 29 states now, but still we are under one government. Yeah, we have a feeling of oneness. In what name? Under India. You know that we are talking in different languages. We have different custom, culture, food habit, dress habit. Everything is different, but still we are Indians. We have a common national anthem, common symbols. Okay, many things are common, even though we have different language. Okay, and that this type of a system, this French people, they tried to make in France. And this will be a question answer. You have to note it properly. The question will be like measures and practices that create a sense of collective identity among the French people. Okay, what are the measures they taken? So one by one we will discuss. What are the measures they taken for creating a sense of collective belonging, creating oneness, creating nationalism. Okay. First one, they created the idea of la patrie. Okay. La patrie means the fatherland. Normally we will call it as motherland. India is a motherland. We will call Bharatamba and all. Okay. I think you saw the picture of Bharatamba, like. Okay. But France is a fatherland. In French it is called la patrie. Okay. Note it. And les citoyens, the citizen. Okay. Les citoyens. Up to that time, French society, that is divided into how many estate? Yes, 3 estate. First estate, second estate, third estate. It is divided. Now what we want to do? Now the people changed that. Everyone is citizen. Okay, les citoyens, and emphasized the notion of united community enjoying equal rights under a constitution, a single constitution. Okay, they already saw in 1789 America made a constitution, the smallest constitution, smallest written constitution in the world, the first constitution in the world. Who made? America, USA, United States of America. Okay, so here what happened? These people, French people, they understood that they have to make a common constitution, and in that all are citizens. There is no difference like first, second, third estate and all. Okay, and the Estate General was elected by the body of the active citizens and renamed the National Assembly. Up to that time, up to 1789, France was ruled by one king. Did you remember the king name? Yes, Louis XVI. Yeah, Louis XVI it was. but after that this was elected by people. And a new French flag, a tricolor flag. India also we have a tricolor flag. Okay, these and all symbols of unity, nationalism, feeling of spreading nationalism. When you are watching cricket, football, these things and all, you can understand that this type of symbols, their jersey, their color, flag, their national anthem, everything will create a sense of unity. You know that clearly. Okay, in the same way, what happened? The French people, they also started a tricolor flag. New hymns were composed. Yeah, some songs and all will be there. Like when we are going when you saw the movies and all, you can see that this types of hymns will be there related to freedom struggle and all. When you are watching in Malayalam also, some that type of songs are there. Yeah, and oaths taken. Oaths. Yeah, morning and all you will take a pledge from school and all. Yeah. So that type of oaths they prepared. Martyrs were commemorated. The people, those who died for the cause of French Revolution, that people were commemorated. All in the name of nation. Everything, it created a sense of unity. Yeah. And a centralized administrative system they created. Up to that time, there is no such uniformity in the administration, and that changed. A centralized administrative system they created. Internal custom duties and dues were abolished. That time, internally they have different duties, customs and all, different type of taxes. This were abolished, and a uniform system of weights and measures were adopted. Olden days and all, not only in France, in many parts of the world, that there is no such common system of weight and measures. That they tried to introduce in France. Regional dialects were discouraged. Yeah, dialects means the language which don't have any written format. Yeah, they will talk, there won't be any written format. In France itself, in different places, the different people will talk in different languages. Yeah, that is discouraged. And French, as it was a spoken and written language, that is introduced in France. Okay, it's already there, and that became a common language in the capital city of France. It is emerged and it's spread in all over France. And it became the common language of the nation. Which language? French language. Okay. And the revolutionaries further declared that it was a mission and the destiny of the French nation to liberate the people of Europe from the despotism. Already French people became independent, and it is the duty of the French people to liberate other people from Europe. Okay. That they taken as their mission. Students and other members of educated middle classes began setting up a Jacobin club. Did you remember this club? Where you heard this club? Yes. Who started? Yeah. Maximilian Robespierre started this club. Yeah. In between, I told 1793 to 94, there is a reign of terror. That time, who was the ruler? Maximilian Robespierre was the ruler. Yeah. And he was a leader of Jacobin club. This type of clubs that spread in all over Europe. Okay. And the French armies began to carry the idea of nationalism abroad. Not only in France, different parts of Europe. Yeah. Different countries, French armies, they began to carry the idea of nationalism. Okay. Through a return to monarchy. What happened up to that time? People's rule. Before 1789, it was monarchy. Yeah. After the coming of Napoleon, this came again in the same system of monarchy. When Napoleon came, yes, just after Directory's rule, one new, I think in 9th class, still you are remembering that, in 1804, Napoleon became the ruler of France. Okay. When he came to the rule, this monarchy also came back. Okay. Through the return to monarchy, Napoleon had no doubt destroyed the democracy in France. He destroyed that. Why? Because again this despotism came. Yeah. He is a dictator. He will be having all the power. Yeah. It doesn't mean everything he done negative. He done a lot of positive things also. Okay. But in the administrative field, he had incorporated a revolutionary principle in order to make the whole system more rational and efficient. To make the administrative system more efficient, he made a lot of things. Positives are there, negatives are there. But anyway, after the coming of Napoleon, this democratic system that he completely destroyed. Instead of that, he restored the monarchy there. Okay, here we have to discuss another topic. Before that, keep in your mind, once we discussed the thing, French citizen made some measures to make nationalism in the mindset of the people. Don't forget that points. Okay. Just after that, we are moving to another important topic. It is related to Napoleon. The Napoleonic Code. Just before I told that he introduced some measures to make administrative system more effective. That things and all, it is called together it is Napoleonic Code, the Code of Napoleon, that he introduced in 1804. And he did away with all privileges based on birth. First thing what he done, already you know that French society is divided into first estate, second estate, third estate. By birth itself, first and second estate they have some privileges. He abolished that. That what his name. That is a very good thing only. Yes, it's right. That's a very good thing only. What he have to abolish all this thing. Which one? The privileges enjoyed by the first and second estate. And established equality before law. That is very good thing. In all over the world, people will surely welcome this one. Equality before the law and secured the right to property. Property related some discussions are there, but still you know that right to property for the people, you know, they will get some property. Even in India, you know that we had a fundamental right before, right to property, then it is deleted. So there are some good thing and bad thing related, whatever it is. In that time he introduced these things, and don't forget that the things which he introduced, two very good laws are there. One, based on the birth, all the privileges enjoyed by the first estate and second estate, that is abolished. That is one thing. And another one thing he introduced, equality before law. All are equal before law. There is no such privileges. Later what he done? Napoleon simplified the administrative divisions. In France, you know, different type of administrative system and in different places prevailed. That is, he simplified. Abolished the feudal system and freed the peasant from the serfdom and manorial dues. Up to that time, you know, some French lords are there. Under that many people will work, and you know their salary, their wages and that and all not confirmed. They are under their control. In such a cases, what is happening? In such cases, the people now in their life they have to work under some people. They won't get anything and they don't have any freedom. They are like slaves. That system, that feudal system, they abolished. And they are avoided from the manorial dues also. Some members, they have to pay some money and all to their lords. That also they avoided. And in the town too, guild restriction were removed. What is guild? Have you heard about this word guild? Yes, trade organizations. Trade organizations were there. Wherever they are going, they have some restrictions in related to guild. They will make new laws, different laws in different places. That is avoided. That is removed. Transport and communication system were improved. That is very important for developing one country. This transportation, communication system and all that should be improved. He done that. And he made uniform laws. Up to that time in France, in different places, the people followed different laws. He made it uniform laws. Who made? Napoleon. And standardized weights and measures and common national currency. Weight and measures and all that is different in different places. Again, we have to discuss the same topic. That time I will tell you. And a common national currency they introduced. In many places such as Holland and Switzerland, Brussels, Mainz, Milan, Warsaw, the French armies were welcome as harbingers of liberty. In different parts of Europe, whenever these people are going, these French armies are going, they were welcomed as harbingers of liberty. That people thought that this Napoleon and this army will give freedom to that society. And you know the very good, very important administrative changes they are making. Who is making? Napoleon. So they are welcomed as harbingers of liberty in different parts of Europe. It became clear that the new administrative arrangements did not go hand in hand with political freedom. It doesn't mean Napoleon gave political freedom to all people. He introduced all these things, but at the same time, he have some despotic mentality also. Okay, some example I will tell you. Okay, that also you have to note some negative things he introduced. The first one, increased taxation. Okay, that will be normally that will be a burden to common people. For rich people, it's okay. Yeah, but he increased taxation. It affected the common normal peasants. Okay, and censorship. Nobody can question the ruler. It is all over the world. Wherever it is, this is the thing. Normally in democracy and all, we can criticize the rulers and all, and it is not at all possible were in monarchy. Yeah, in monarchy, dictatorship, military rule, in such things and all, the censorship will be there. We cannot criticize the rulers through magazine, channels, news and all. That will be censored. Yeah. And another thing is that forced conscription into the French armies. He made it is compulsory to work in the French army. That forcefully he done that. Okay, this all seemed to overweigh the advantages of the administrative changes. Okay, what happened? He made a lot of good things in the society, but at the same time, this and all made some problem. Okay, majority administrative things he done there, that and all very positive, but at the same time this taxation, censorship, forcefully joining in the French armies, that and all outweigh the advantages of the administrative changes. Okay, and he started ruling in 1804. He continued that. Okay, in your textbook one more picture given. One postman is going and he lost some of the letters while he traveling. Okay, this is that is a symbol of this Napoleon. When he is traveling from one place to another place, he lost his letters in here, he lost his territories and all. That has happened in 1813. Okay. In 1813, he failed in one war called Battle of Leipzig. Okay, note that, Battle of Leipzig, that happened in 1813. Okay. And finally, I think you heard a world famous war that happened in 1815, Waterloo. Okay. Finally, many countries joined, and this Napoleon, he failed in the war, Waterloo, 1815. That's a world famous war, don't forget that. Up to that only it is given in your textbook related to Napoleon. After that he was sent to one island, St. Helena, and finally he died in 1821 from that island. Okay, you can see the picture of Napoleon also there. Okay. After that, the making of nationalism in Europe. Okay, we will move to the next topic just after Napoleon. Now we discussed two topics, one more topic we will take. Okay, if you look at the map of mid 18th century, Europe, you will find that there were no nation state as we know them today. Just before I told you, okay, there won't be that much of nation states there. They are under the control of some other rulers, monarchs. Germany, Italy and Switzerland were divided into kingdom, duchies, cantons, whose rulers had their autonomous territories. Okay. All this type of countries are under the control of some other rulers. And after the French Revolution, many countries, they want to become independent and they went for their own freedom, like the countries like Germany, Italy, such people and all. And that and all we have to discuss later after this topic one by one. This and all emerged through, this and all happened after the French Revolution, because French Revolution inspired many people. Yeah, their slogan, French philosophers, these things and all helped to create a sense of unity, feeling of nationalism among European people. Yeah, and they did not seem themselves as a sharing collective identity for a common culture. These European people, even though they are, maybe they having a common culture or a language and all, okay, but they didn't feel like that. The Habsburg Empire ruled over Austria-Hungary. That's a Russian empire before. Now if you are searching, you will get that it is a part of Italy. And in Hungary, half of the population spoke Magyar, while in other half of the spoke variety of dialects. In one country itself, one type of people, one corner, one people are they are talking in one language. Yeah. The remaining people, they are talking different dialects. Dialects in the sense that they didn't develop any written format and all. Yeah. Language will be there won't be any written format. Besides this three dominant group, there were also lived within the boundaries of the empire. Many other people within the empire, different people will be there. Okay. only the tie binding this diverse groups together was a common allegiance to the emperor. Only the thing they know that they are under the control of one emperor. Okay, one emperor like Habsburg Empire and all. Okay, they are under the control of one emperor. And here, socially and politically, a landed aristocracy was the dominant class on the continent. Okay, aristocracy, one elite people, some rich people, they will be the dominant people in one continent. Their families were often connected with ties of marriages. In French family, you know that we discussed one family of Louis XVI. Did you remember the family name? Yes, Bourbon family. You know that in every society, some upper class people will be there. Okay. In French society also, we already discussed that first and second estate, they are privileged classes, such people. Okay. And here also a group of aristocratic people was there. And after the coming of industrial revolution in society, some changes happened. Okay. About that changes and all, we have to discuss in detail. Okay. We will discuss in the coming classes. Okay. It was among the educated liberal middle classes that the idea of national unity following the abolition of aristocratic privileges gained popularity. Educated middle classes want to abolish this type of aristocratic people and all, and there should be equality among the people. Okay. Related to that, a big topic related to liberal nationalism that we will discuss in the coming class. Today we discussed about the nationalism, okay, a feeling of oneness. About that we started, and we discussed a picture. I hope you remember the name of the picture, the pact between nations. Who drawn that picture? Frederic Soriot is a French artist, 1848 he published that. Okay. Later we discussed the measures and that is taken by the French people to create a feeling of oneness. That one by one, that will be a 5-mark question answer you have to study. After that we discussed the Napoleonic Code, which introduced in 1804. Some points are there, that is a very important question that you have to discuss. And later in the coming class we will discuss for the liberal, about the liberal nationalism, that we will discuss later. Go through the chapter, study well, concentrate in study. Okay, remaining all things you can leave now, just concentrate only in studies now. Any doubt you can ask me. Okay, till then, bye.